All right. Hey guys, Stuart Fontaine from Inte Las Tue, meaning La Loche, Saskatchewan. I'm Treaty 8, Clearwater River Dene Nation member, professional fighter, former amateur mixed martial arts champion, and own Warrior Spirit Martial Arts Academy, coaching out of there now. Well, it's my gym. But yeah, of course, proud family man, got a family. And that's it. That's me. I just teach, be with the fam. That's it.
And how's it been at the gym?
It's good. You know how it is, especially this time of the year. Numbers kind of dwindle down, and you're everybody wants to fight, but no one's really willing to train as hard, right? Right now, we're just getting Kaylee's Kaiway hat ready for Worlds in Italy, Verona, Italy. So we'll be going over there, which is pretty exciting. But little girl's gotta train harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's at that age. She looks at me as I'm her dad, right? Like she calls me dad. And it's like that father and daughter thing, like, hey, you gotta train. Like, we go hit pads, is like that attitude. But I'm just trying to, how do you say it, what's best for her, and I'm a strict coach. That's why we don't have a whole stable of fighters. We do have like very talented young group of guys, but I'm very strict when it comes to coaching. And if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not meeting me halfway, then you're not fighting. That's just how I've always been in my gym. So that's why, like, when we have guys to compete, it's always good turnouts. Yeah. I like to keep it that way. But little lady,
when is it?
June 23rd, I think. Towards the end of June. Credence does everything. I just kind of, me, bro. Even texting me is kind of hit her.
When I get a hold of him today, he texts me. I text him back. He texts me back 2 hours later. I called him on every platform. There's no answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
So if I want to make plans with him, I just message him like 6 days before. And we'll figure something out in that time, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm bad.
So you get to go to Italy?
Yeah, I'm actually I got asked to be one of her coaches, so
nice.
I'll be coaching her there, which is pretty awesome, right? Because Kieran's a good friend of mine, and he's always wanted me to come out to his gym and train. And but yeah, he asked me, so I was like, of course, man, I'll be honored.
Where's his gym?
Can I say it? Cochrane, Alberta?
Oh, yeah.
Cochrane. Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
I apologize if I'm not. But it's near Calgary.
Man, that's cool. Italy, how many, I guess, like, is it like a 5-day tournament, 4-day tournament?
I think it's like 3-day.
Do you fight multiple times in one day?
I think so, yeah.
It's like boxing, you're not allowed to. Anymore.
No. So I don't know if I think it might be one per day or it might be a couple. But yeah, there's some videos just surfaced on a few of her opponents, and they look pretty
good.
Yeah, but I mean, like, she's good too.
Yeah.
When you compare the two, you're like, yeah, it's pretty, like, pretty similar. But she just has that natural aggression when she really channels into it, You know how it is being a coach, trying to instill confidence in your fighter is not always the easiest thing, Like, they got to feel it too. And she likes the attention from it.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
She does. Like, she is confident. Every time I come there,
yeah,
she just mean mugs me and beats me up. And then I go home with my head down. Look at me, I just got bullied by a child. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, her birthday's coming up in June too. Yeah.
When?
I don't know, sometime in June. I'm bad at stuff.
Shouldn't have asked that. Sorry.
Sorry, Kaylee's. Credence on all. She reminds me of everything.
Yeah.
She writes everything down. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's tomorrow. Okay.
It's one of the benefits of keeping Facebook is that people's birthdays pop up.
Yeah. I'm bad at that. I'm like, oh shit, it's my dad's birthday. Yeah. Sorry, Dad. Yeah.
That's good. So what made you go from training to coaching?
To be honest, back then I was my son, Cyril was born with Daciana. I was kind of, I was gone quite too much, like for training camps and stuff like that. And it was, I didn't want the same for him. I kind of wanted to be there more, and so I did. And yeah, shit happens. And then you're like, you don't want to go work for anybody else. You know how it is. Like, you just, got your own business going. I hate working for people. It's just too much of that. And I'm very, how do you say it? I stand my ground too much. I don't like being pushed over and pushed around or being talked down on. And if we see eye to eye, we talking to each other like this, I love it. But like as soon as this starts to come into action, like that, I can't do it. And so running my own business is the best thing. But yeah, so that's what led me to being a trainer. And because I already had fighters too. I already had Chad Sutherland. He's 6-0 as an amateur, and he's 1-0 as a pro now. But he ended up, having his own family. Grew pretty fast. I think he's on his 4th or 5th kid. Yeah, and since 2020, boom. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Dang.
yeah. He's a good family man. I'm so proud of him. Like we both grew up similar backstory, right? Like broken home. Dad not around, right? Like, and I always preach that to him and all my students. I'm like, always be who you needed when you're growing up. Be the dad you wish you had, right? So that's why I'm very what's the word I'm looking for? My kids, like I have that strong bond with them. I always make sure they come first, and it's a good thing because it rubs off on my students too. And Chad is an amazing dad now. He's teaching some youth out in Beardies, in our striking system. He's my brown belt. He's beginning his black belt really quick here, and he's a blue belt under me in grappling. So, but he's yeah, he taught himself everything. He's a hunter now, all self-taught. Hunter. He's his own he's making his own sausages and smoke or whatever you call that stuff, smoking everything except meth.
Not yet.
Yeah. Hope not. Oh, stay away from that shit, bro. But yeah, Chad is like a little brother to me, man. I love that guy. We've been through it like since he started his journey. We kind of connected and had that bond since. And yeah, always watch out for each other. Always had each other's back. We had some crazy stories. One day we'll be sitting around the fire with our kids, and he'll be telling my kids how crazy their dad used to be. Yeah, hit first, talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because even with hockey, people who play hockey with you, that's what they all talk about. How much you fight on the ice.
He doesn't even play hockey.
He doesn't play.
He's good for nothing. I don't know. It's just okay. Like it's a funny story. Is I grew up with a lot of aggression. Like my growing up in a household with your stepfather, abusing your mom, beating her up. You grew up around that and being that helpless child. Like you couldn't do it. You couldn't defend your mom, and all that anger and that resentment you carry your whole life, pretty much. And so that's what I grew up around. And but every time I went on the ice, I was always told, "Hey, go hit him, go fight. It's okay. You're not gonna get in trouble. What's 5 minutes in the box?" It's like, yeah, like I could fight, and then just switch every time I hit the ice. Is like that green light. And I'm like, if I'm feeling mad that day, I'll be smiling off the ice. Hey guys, as soon as I step on the ice, I'm at the red line and I'm doing my thing, and hey, it helps. It's just I don't know.
We should get you signed to that BKFC Ice Wars.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's different when you fight on the ice. I mean, it's not. It's fun in a sense, but it doesn't last long. I like just smoking someone in the face, or like even when you take them down, and you just smash. Or like we're like in fighting, like we do like boxing or MMA, like you're being very technical, right? Like in hockey, you just you grab on the jersey and you're like, who's got the tougher chin? You know what I mean? Or who's got the better hand? Like not better hand, like, but more like who hand doesn't break as easy, you know? So that's why.
When you fight in hockey, because like most people just grab
Yeah.
one hand, punch with the other. But like I remember like George the Rock,
Mm-hmm.
he never
Grab on.
or if he did, he would still use that one
Yeah.
to jab
It's a,
and punch, and he never lost.
yeah.
And I always wondered why everyone else would grab when he was doing so well not grabbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, I mean, he's a big guy. A big strong guy. And like in MMA words, I mean, I'm a middleweight on the ice, you know? Like when I was juniors, I was 230 pounds, man. Like I took pride in that, you know? I was like, the reason, like, even when I was younger, like my uncle, I'll throw him under the bus. My uncle Richard, love you, uncle. But yeah, he's because my cousins went and played juniors, right? And they came back. They couldn't handle it. They just, you know, they missed home, right? They broke down, whatever. They came back, whatever excuses they had. And my uncle was like, I'm like, I want to play juniors. And he told me, no word of lies, like, I don't know, it's pretty tough league. I don't think you're strong enough. Like, I don't know. I've always loved when people say I can't do something. It just fucking ignites something within me. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck you. I didn't say it to him, but that's in here, right? I'm like swearing at him in my head. I'm like, fuck you. I'll show you, motherfucker. And then, sorry, uncle, but yeah. And then, but hey, you're a big motivator. But anyways, and then
some people are negatively motivated.
Yeah.
And they need that. And
But he's such a nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy for him to say that, right? Maybe it's because like my cousin was like the superstar of our hometown in hockey, right? Like, name is my man's. Unfortunately, he's, you know, caught in heavy drugs right now, and you know, but back then, you know, he was special on the ice, and then but he couldn't hack it. He couldn't hack being away, right? Like he couldn't handle it. And then so I took it upon myself as a midget age. I'm like, fuck, I want to go play, man. Like I want to play juniors. I just want to get out of the loss, to be honest. But I didn't even really love hockey. That's why I fight so much on the ice, because, dude, like if I'm getting paid to play, first period, I'm going home. I already got paid. I'm going home, man. I'm gonna do my job real quick and get out of here. You know, but like it was my ticket out, you know? Like, was I the greatest hockey player in my hometown? No. Like there's guys that surpassed me, but like one thing I've always had was a hard worker, you know? Like I was pushed myself, and as a midget age, that's when I found my way out. And you know, I tried out for Beardies at the time, but they give you the price of how much it costs to play AAA hockey. And then on top of that, your billet fees. Dude, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I forgot that money from my daughter. You know, but I didn't have that type of support back then, right? And unfortunately, I left, and then I got a call from Coleg Ice junior B team. They're like, "Hey, come try out." So I went and tried out, and then I made the team, and I got signed as a midget age. Unfortunately, I had to use the glass bubble. They call it the bubble, so I had to wear that, and then I got my first actual fight in hockey, like, you know, a fight, right? Where the helmets came off, and like in high school, yeah, we fought, but our helmets were still on. We tried to rip it off each other. Not much squaring up, right? Like squaring off. And then, but in Coal Lake, like I squared off against an older guy, and I think he was like a last year junior age player. So he's like 21, and I'm just 17 years old, right? Squared off and held my own. And afterwards, like, oh, you can throw him. Like, I guess so. I just wanted to be there, you know? And then, you know, but then I played, and then I was playing football too. So I played with the Coal Lake Royals as a linebacker, you know. I just natural athlete, right? Whatever I wanted to do, I can do. I feel like, in a way, you know, whatever sport I wanted to try, I picked up really quick. And football was one of them. And everybody was comparing me to my older cousin. I call him my brother. His name is Leroy. He played university football for SMU in Halifax, and everybody's comparing me to him right away. Like, oh, you've related to Leroy Fontaine? I'm like, you play like him. I'm like, cool. You know, that's pretty awesome. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not trying to be him, you know? And then, which is crazy because what do they call those, punt returns? So when you stand and they kick the ball and you catch it, you know, I can run, right? Like, so I got that ball, I'm booking it. I didn't hear my coach yelling, take a knee. So, but by the time I heard him, everybody's already near me, right? So I took a knee. Boom, boom. I was getting hit from all angles and hurt my back a little bit. And I was in pain, I'm not going to lie. And then coach at hockey practice, he's like, how come you didn't come to practice? Like, I missed one day and then I went to the next practice. And old school coaching, he gave me shit. And he's like, you're here to play hockey. You're not here to play football. You're not here to do anything else. You're here to play hockey. We pay for your billet fees. We do all these things. You're here to play hockey. And I'm like, oh, dude, all right. Plus the billets I stayed with at the time was not, wasn't the greatest. They were a nice home and all that, but just their attitude towards me being indigenous, like when my mom would call, the lady would listen on the other end. He's like, what were you guys talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So they kind of got to a point where I'm like, hey, like, I call my friend Loretta and Tracy King, and I'm like, hey, I want to get out of here. Can you pick me up? So they came and rescued me, and I don't say rescue me. I sound like a really bad victim. They weren't abusing me or anything like that. I was just being a little pussy. But, I'm tough skin now. You know what I mean? Like, back then, I was like, like I didn't have money. I didn't my dad wasn't sending me money. My mom was sending money. I was just there on my own, right? I was just going to school. Whatever the billets are feeding me is what I had. I didn't have anything extra, Didn't have that type of support. And, but yeah, and then my mom came to watch me, to pick me up. My brother brought her. And my mom was drinking already by the time she got there. So, and as a kid growing up around that, you kind of, yeah. So she showed up drinking, and I was like, oh, fuck, you already drinking, Mom? Then we ended up going home, and I finished the rest of the year in high school hockey, right? I jumped back, and then, which is good at the time, right? Motivated me more to push myself, seeing where I could go. Like, I'm already playing. What's next year? Being told I wasn't tough enough, and then all of a sudden, I'm holding my own, against grown men.
Mm-hmm.
So got ready the next year. I think I was like up to like 220, 215. I was like, I wasn't fat, but like it's pretty thick, But yeah, and the rest is history. And then just played like that. Second year, I think I went to the States, and that opened doors for me. Like, it all started from here in Saskatoon. I was playing like a little summer league. And I went to summer camp. There was junior players, some coaches were there, and then a guy from Bismarck. He's from Saskatoon, I think, originally, or somewhere in Saskatchewan. He's like, hey, come to the NA. Whatever, bro. Hooked it up, went there, and ended up going to Wisconsin instead. And yeah.
So when you did this, were you like training martial arts at the
Yeah, so I started training like in 2007, I think. I was young. I was like 17. Just about to turn 18. And I did it for shits and gigs. And then well, let's be honest, I was like, a friend took me to a show, like not a show. It happened by mistake. Like they thought there was fights, like UFC fights going on that night. And so we went. Turned out it was just a rerun. It wasn't an actual event, right? So I'm watching, and then Brandon, the Truth Vera, knocked out Justin Eilers. Fucking head kick. He went southpaw, got him with a head kick, and then finished with him with a knee. And I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just opened my eyes. So I went home, I got back and fucking Googling this stuff, right? And then it led me to a gym. And I believe that was Graham's gym back in like 07. Popped in, so what's up? But I wasn't like one of his fighters. I just popped in, trained, and back then it was a wild, wild west. There's shows going on. There's shows at Riley's. There's shows everywhere. And I hopped in a couple, and they're not on my record, but
right.
KO'd some guys. It was pretty good. Just a kid. But hey, I got in the bar through that way, right? So it's funny because Chad has a similar story. Chad was only 15, 16, knocking out grown men, right? So but that was the wild, wild west days,
Yeah.
And then yeah, so it's crazy back then. Like anybody fought anybody. Right. There's no like, I don't want to fight him. I don't. Everybody was trying to be a tough guy. That's when like King of the Caves was popping. Everything was going crazy all over Western Canada at the time.
I feel like too, because there was not. It's not like everything was recorded, everything was on TV, everything was like all the data, everything. So it's just like you could just go and fight, and if you weren't there, no one saw it.
Yeah.
Nobody knew it happened, and it was just like sparring in your gym.
Yeah.
Only people who know about it are people who are there sparring, and like that's what those events would be like. Whereas now it's like every single thing is on
record, right?
On record.
And plus phones now.
Being
You can
judged, being like, are you worth money? Are you worth
Yeah.
And it's just like all these things factor into a fight now where it's like, do I want to take this one? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't want to. And back then it was like you could just get your practice in, take these fights
without a coach, nothing, bro.
Yeah, and just get it.
It was fun back then, though.
Yeah.
Like that's what I liked about it. Like there's nobody picking and choosing. You just you got asked to go, you went, and you had fun, you know.
Yeah.
And apparently, when I fought, I put on a show. I don't know.
I can see that. Yeah, I don't know.
I have a little fun, you know.
How did you get linked up with Rory in that crew?
Oh, so like my history like of training, right? Like I always give credit where credit is due, and I might miss some names, but back then, like you know Matthew Jelly, right? He coaches, so you probably don't know him on personal level, but he coaches a lot of UFC fighters now, and he's always at every UFC show. Busy throughout Canada now, but back then, humble beginnings, right? Like I used to travel to Fort McMurray from Lalash to go train, and that's where I met Jelly at Sandy Bowman's gym. It's called Bowman's Martial Arts, and back then they had Dwayne Lewis. Dwayne Lewis was an MFC champion at the time. He was murking everybody, right? And Jelly was one of his cornermen. But I met Jelly probably 08, I think, and he was this hippie-looking kid, beating the shit out of everybody in the gym, right? And he was the knowledge keeper. You know, everybody went to him for advice. Bowman's there. Bowman's a good guy. He's the mayor now over there. And, you know, I appreciate everything. Like, I don't think I ever paid gym membership fee ever. So, you know, thank you, Bowman. but Jelly, meeting Jelly was one of he's one of my best friends, and it was one of the greatest things ever because Jelly opened the doors for me throughout my whole martial arts career. If it weren't for Jelly, I wouldn't be where I am today, or the knowledge that I have, you know, wouldn't even be close. Like Jelly opened the doors so much. Like I give so much credit to Jelly. Jelly's one of my best friends. He's always watching out for me. He's always checking up on me. Even when I don't message him, he'll message me just to check up, right? I love Jelly, and you know, it's just he's uncle to my kids, you know what I mean? Uncle Jelly. And but anyways, so Jelly yeah, he opened the doors for me, and through him I met Troy Watson, who was one of my original boxing coaches. Troy is he loves the Cuban style. So that's where you see a lot of my movement, my footwork and all that stuff, like the pad work. That's all from Troy. So even when the way Jelly holds, we give credit to Troy Watson for that, you know. Troy Watson, MIB moving in Fort Mac, you know, but like I love Troy, man. Troy took me under his wing, you know. I lived in his house, slept on his couch, you know, like it was like Rocky style. Like he was Mickey, you know. Woke me up at 6 a.m. to go for those long runs, right? Like every day, and then noon will be freaking a workout session, right? Strength and conditioning, and then evening is all pad work, bag work, footwork like crazy, man. Mm-hmm. But Troy really opened my eyes to a lot of the style that we do now. It all stems, like it all ties in together from everybody. Like Jelly, you know, Jelly trained with everybody, right? Like he's a gypsy, you know, and so am I guess, you know. But a lot of my style stems from those guys, and my old Muay Thai coach. Not many people know this because he held tryouts in Edmonton years ago, and this would have been 08, 09, around that time. But he held tryouts. I was on Kijiji. I'm looking at Kijiji, right? Like, man, who can hold pads for me, you know? Back then it was like far in between, you know? There's not many solid pad holders, right? So I'm looking, and it says Muay Thai kickboxing K1 style tryouts, something like that. And I messaged the guy. He's like, class is taught by Eastern European, whatever, like champion. His name's Ahmed. And then messaged him, go to tryouts. It was at Panther Gym. Panther Gym's in the basement, right? Boxing gym. So it was there. There was a lot of people. And I was like, doing my thing. I didn't think of anything of it, right? I was like, I'm just going to show up just to get some rounds in and go home, call it a day. And then after the class, he's like, all right, guys, in this broken English, thank you. I'll see you. But he's like, but you stay here. I was like, sorry, I'm trying to, how do you say, like, mimic the way he talks. You stay here. Very, like, tough, like, very direct. And then he's like, you notice anything? I'm like, no. When you're hitting the bag, everybody in here is watching you. You're special. It's like, ah, shut up. It's like, no, I want to make you a champion. I'm going to make you a champion. That's what he said to me. And I'm like, oh, shit. All right, cool. He's like, when can you move here? And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm like, I don't know if I can move here. Like, I just come here. I pop in from time to time, right? And then he ended up coming to Loon Lake and staying with me for a bit, right? And then old school, like short shorts, wife beater, hairy guy, right? Beard. It's like you. Well, literally, bro, has a cigarette hanging from his mouth. Like they like do some pad work, but his style was very. The way we train now is, again, it comes from him too, because the way he drills, he's all about building armor with your body. The more you get hit, like Kyokushin style, right? Like where we kick each other 100%, punch each other, hitting each other, and like, it's he really tied into my kickboxing. We kind of butt heads though towards the end because he has to make money, right? Like probably thought like, hey, I'm gonna make this guy a champion. It's gonna happen overnight, but you know how it is. Being realistic, shit takes time, right? But I want to do MMA. I wanted to focus on mixed martial arts, but he wanted me to do K1 style. He's like, it's big money over there. Here is nothing, but we'll get you there. But I didn't see it at the time, which I kind of regret now because all I had to do was just listen. So all the young fighters out there, your coach tells you to do something, listen. They see things that you don't see yet, and it makes sense in time. But yeah, he how do you say, he broke me in, like mentally. You know what I mean? Like he taught me the value of hard work. Everything he always did, like, it's how I coach now too. Everything he always did, he always had like reasons behind everything he does, and not only for fighting but for life in general. He really instilled hard work into me. Like I never knew what hard work was until him. I thought I always pushed myself, hockey, whatever. Like I thought, that's good enough. Call it a day, right? But like, I'm gonna admit, I was overtraining though. I was training all day, every day when he was my coach, and I didn't complain once. I did what I had to do, even though like my body was breaking down. But he broke that mental barrier. That's all. Like now, like even like spar or whatever it is I do, I push myself. Like I'm not gonna quit and go sit down. I'll just keep pushing. I just, that mentality. I always used to tell me, is like, walk around like you're the champ. Walk around like you're the lion. You're the fucking boss. Like you're the man. And he instilled that into me. So every time I train, you see sometimes where I walk around, I'm like, stop being cocky or arrogant. It's just I'm telling myself, you're not tired. Like,
I feel like even when like I'm holding pads for you, sometimes even like you've been off for months, you haven't been training, and you could still come in and do 10 3-minute rounds on the pads hard every single round.
Mm-hmm.
And you just like mentally push yourself through it. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? You haven't been training, man. You did more rounds than half my guys can do.
Funny thing, bro. Like that's what I mean. Like he instilled that into me. It's like, push through it. What's an hour of hard work? You get to relax and complain after you're done. Push through no matter how tired you are. It's funny because I used to do like tournaments, like kickboxing tournaments, Muay Thai tournaments, straight off the couch and win gold. It's just, these guys would be training. I just come in and just do my thing back then, right? And I don't know. He always taught me about the like conditioning thing. Like, get your conditioning up. Doesn't matter how you look. It's how long you can keep going at a pace, and that's conserving your energy. You know what I mean? Like it's something it's hard to teach to people too. I try, but it's one of those things they just have to find out on their own. Like learn to push through. I'm like, hey, I can't waste my energy doing this. I can chill, and then pick times to like attack and chill and move again. Right? So I'm big on footwork too, is because of that. Like you see me moving around, I avoid getting into that brawl where I'm gonna gas out after like. I don't want to gas out just brawling. I'd rather just pick you apart. You know what I mean?
I think that's the what's the word? The most frustrating things about sparring you is that you're just never where I want you to be.
It's so crazy because Ahmad, he was big on switch dancing. So like a lot of people jump on that now, right? Like now it's popular, but I was doing that in the beginning. And then when I went to a different coach later on, he's like, "Hey, don't do that. Don't do that." I'm like, I never listened. I just kept doing it, right? Like, because Ahmad is still that. I mean, what happens? You break your hand. What happens? You hurt your foot from kicking. You can't use that. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna keep standing there trying to throw it, or you're gonna switch? So I would just switch, and which is true because I did break my hand before, and it sucks. But like, I still kept throwing, but I switched a lot and switch to my right hand, throwing into like a jab and stepping with it and throwing across with it and stuff like that, right? So you see my videos, my ground and pound, that's where I do a lot of my hand, like damage to my hand is I just throw them as hard as I can and yeah, I just chuck them. That's where I got this reason the tattoos. This one fighter, Misha, I forget his coach's name, but Misha was on his way to the UFC at the time. I think he was like 9-0. And we're at 5-star and his coach now just throwing bombs and he's like afterwards, holy man, he's like sorry, he's like holy fuck, you're just throwing fucking tomahawks in there. And that's where this tattoo came from. Yeah, so yeah, it's crazy. My journey's been like all over the place, and like I said, I give credit where credit's due. And Ahmad, Troy Watson, Jelly, and then it goes to when Jelly he left McMurray, went to Edmonton and St. Albert. He went to Complete Fitness and Martial Arts, and that's where my team was. Right, like I'm proud. Like when I was there, I was proud of where I went. Right, like I mean, training with the guys. They were probably one of the top teams in Canada at the time. We had Ryan Ford, like my coach Mitch Clark was in the UFC. We had Shane Shaolin Campbell. Like we had all these big names in Canada. They all train under one gym, right? Former UFC fighters like the late Tim Hague and Victor Valimaki, like using the UFC. Like we had all these guys, Nick Penner. Like I'm just name dropping, but these are the guys I trained with on the regular. I was like their little brother when I was there. You know what I mean? And but yeah, Jelly's the reason why I ended up there, and it became home, literally home, because I was living in the gym, I was sleeping on the mats, but I had to do what I had to do because the mats is better than sleeping in my car. That's the shit I did when I was training at Edmonton. Like I literally lived in my car just to chase a dream nobody fucking understood, and I had some good guidance there, and like my old striking coach Cam Yalitz. He was really into Dutch style kickboxing. Sheldon Westcott, like these guys, like again, Sheldon fought in UFC too. He owns his own gym Evolution in Edmonton now. But they introduced me to Dutch style kickboxing, and that's where like things really started changing. Like it's like because before it was Ahmad, it was like this way, Troy, but then me and Cam and like everybody completed like it put everything together as opposed to trying to be separate, like this is Muay Thai, this is kickboxing, striking, this is boxing, but you get Dutch, the best of both worlds, and that was the best for me. And yeah, I was fortunate there because I had like some guys that really upped my game, like Andrew McInnes, Coach Gee, he was the owner there, right? He they really helped like my ground game and everything because I seek better training because I lost a guy. I was 8-0. He got me a submission to the rear naked choke. I'll never forget that night. I was like, I don't know. I think I don't know if he died, but I heard he was in a vegetable state. Last time I heard from him, like I mean, not from him, but like heard, like yeah. I don't know why I should say this on here, but yeah, that's why you don't mess with another man's wife. He unfortunately got caught in bed with a man's wife, and the guy took I think a 22 to his head, and the bullet got lodged in his brain, and he's in vegetable state, right? So I can't get my rematch now because that was my go-to. I wanted to like avenge my loss. I wanted to get in there and show him who I am now, because that time he came in like 30 pounds overweight and he still made the fight happen. And I lost. It is what it is. But it was good that I lost because it really opened my eyes, like how important grappling is. And then once that happened, I never looked back, and complete, really, like I said, made my game more complete because I was surrounded by killers on the regular and people that really genuinely cared, made me felt like I belong. They always looked out what's best for me. Because at the time I had because I was winning fights and I was there. And then I had title fight offers like all over like Western Canada for me for amateur. And then Mitch, I still remember my coach Mitch Clark at the time. He's like sat me down. I think you should go pro. I'm like, but I got all these title fights. Then he's like, none of that matters. It's just amateur. No one cares. I was like, oh, okay. Go collect pro belts, And then, yeah, and it's crazy because the World Series of Fighting came in and then they seen me training and they're like asking questions who I was. And then, yeah, and the rest was I fought on World Series of Fighting, which was pretty sweet. Cool experience, right? Yeah, because the guy, they're trying to build up the local guy, pretty boy, the next GSP apparently, and then beat the shit out of him in 2 minutes, 11 seconds the first round. Yeah, I'm just that guy. Yeah.
So with all these, obviously you've had a bunch of different coaches and mentors in your life. Like with all that, how do you bring that to your gym? Like, what is the culture in your gym like?
Man, the culture in my gym is I'm a hard coach, man. Like I'm old school. Like I really take a lot of Ahmad's teachings, and then I do that. So when I teach something, and then I teach about life, does it mean I know everything about fucking life? No, it's just sometimes these young guys, even older guys, they just need to hear like we're all human, man. Like because you'll meet some people, they'll talk about life, like, hey, you do this, go do this, and it'll make your life better. But at the end of the day, man, like we're our own worst critic. We're our own worst negative thing in our lives is ourselves, Like I get caught in my head a lot, and reassuring my students that you're not the only one that goes through this. I go through it. I'm not perfect. It's why I barely post on social media. My life is not perfect, but I try my best to be better. If I fuck up, I'm working on it, because let's be real. Like, I mean, like I don't have a good past, but my heart was always in the right place. I help out so many people, but I'm not the type to like brag about stuff like that, like people. So oftentimes people really have this perception of me because I might have fucked somebody up or like I might have stood up for myself and made someone feel uncomfortable by my words. But it's just because I'm not a pushover and I'm very truthful when I speak, and then a lot of times that really rubs people off the wrong way, So yeah, and then but the culture in my gym is like I'm just me, I don't sugarcoat nothing. I wear my heart on my sleeve, just so that way they know like we're all normal people. We're all just trying to get by. We're all just trying to better each other. Like in the gym where we really we're like a family, like we really push that I'm there for you. You going through shit? Let's go through shit together. Share with me on these mats. We don't have no cliques in our gym. You're not gonna come to our gym where you're gonna see a bunch of you come into a gym, everybody welcomes you. Came to our gym, man. Everybody welcomes you. Everybody wants to pick your brain.
Every time, the thing I like, every time I come to your gym, there's like a birthday being celebrated. There's somebody being recognized for something, not just like gym wise. Maybe they did something outside the gym. You're always shouting people out. And another thing is like when I come to the adult class, it's cool to come early and catch the end of the kids class.
Yeah.
Because when you get them lined up and you have them repeating, I'm not really sure. I don't know if you want to share that.
The rules of life.
Yeah, rules of life.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. It's like it's powerful. It's such a cool, and like the first time I seen that, like when I was got in my car to go back home, that's the first time I messaged Demi. I was like, man, you should see these kids. Like, and it's so powerful.
Uh-huh.
And it's powerful that like that's in their head.
Yeah.
Because they all know it.
I try to instill it into them, right? Like it's like that what's that called? That self dude, I can't think about it. Like I can't say it right now. It's like that the reassurance.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like these things you say to yourself, like these positive affirmations. Yeah. So like I try to instill that into my youth, right? So
what are a couple of them? Just for example.
You just only start from the fucking end, like beginning to the finish. All right. So so in the beginning, I was like, all right, good job, guys. As long as you're pushing yourselves, is all I ask for. And I always remember, you get what you put in. It's like anything in life. You don't work hard at it. Don't be mad if the results aren't what you expect it to be, And then I'll be like, the only time you use this is when. And then they all say, when walking away doesn't work. The only time you use is when walking away doesn't work. You use it as a last resort. That's when you hear all the kids are yelling. Because let's be honest, I'm teaching these kids to defend themselves. You're not coming to my gym not ever use it. Mm-hmm. Of course, you're coming to learn to defend yourself. So if you tell these kids, like, you never use this no matter what, honestly, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to freeze because they're scared. They don't want to disrespect you because in their eyes, you're their idol. You know what I mean? So I always tell them the only time you use is when walking away doesn't work. You use it as the last resort. And then the next one's like, and you treat, and then some of the kids, I'll say, others the way you want to be treated. And then you see a fellow classmate sitting alone, or a friend, or just a fellow student sitting outside alone by themselves, or just hanging out by themselves. What are you gonna go do? They're like, go introduce yourself. Go make a new friend. You never know what someone is going through. Just you saying hi alone might make their day or week, because not everybody comes from a healthy home, and sometimes it's just, and again, me saying that because a lot of our kids probably grew up the same way I grew up, and a lot of them are in different homes, right? So, and then, so you go there, and I'm like, when you're in school, respect all. They'll say staff and students, all staff and students, right? And then respect other people's properties. If you see a couple $100 drop out of someone's pocket, what are you gonna do? Some of the kids will joke. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to take it. And then we'll have the older ones like, no, you're not. You're going to go and give it back because you don't know if that might be their only money they have to feed themselves for the month or the week. So I teach them these things, and always be aware of your surroundings is the biggest thing, with the missing and murdered Indigenous women and these children, like being kidnapped and stuff like that, right? Like, I always tell them, be aware of your surroundings. Don't assume everything is fine and perfect. It might be someone standing right there just waiting for their opportunity to pounce, right? Like, so I always tell them these things, and, just little things like that. And sometimes we go more on over things, and we always say thank you to the coaches and their parents for, our guardians for bringing them. And I was just trying to teach them to be more appreciative about everything they have, because the fact that they get to train and it's paid for, and that's they gotta learn to be appreciative of that, because not many kids have that opportunity, So yeah, I do a lot of that. I try to instill that stuff into them, and to me, it's more than training. I'm not like worried about building fighters. I'm more worried about just help make better people, like people that actually give a shit, And yeah, so we do a lot of that, and yeah, the kids' classes are they're always fun to watch. You know, a lot of parents will just sit and watch. And I'm old school when I teach too. Like, I'm not here to babysit, man. Like, you're here to work. You know, if you're not here to work, you can go chill until you're ready to come on the mats. Like, I tell parents that too. It's not a daycare. You're not here to drop your kid off and there's your horse around. Like, there's other gyms you can go do that at. Like, you don't do that here. Here is like, because I want my kids to have that. I don't want them to have that that it's that self confidence, what's that word I'm looking for? False confidence. I don't want to have that false confidence where they think because they train in a gym, but most of the time they're horsing around, they don't know what they're doing, and then they think they can handle themselves, and then they get the shit out of the stick, you know? I don't want that. I want all of my students, even adults. You see the way I teach my adults. I make sure everybody's clean. I'm big on that, like cleanliness and like being very technical. I'm very big on those things because if time comes, I want them to be able to handle themselves. And that's what like I said, I'm not worried about building fighters. I'm just worried about more building better people, and, you know, giving them confidence they need outside the gym. So we all like confidence, man. I do it all the time too. You know, like especially when I'm fat and out of shape like right now, you know? Eats the shit out of me. Right? Like, but hey man. I'm gonna get back there, don't worry. Because I do feel like fighting again. So I need to get out of my system.
How much of your leadership um or like your want to be a good leader for people comes from maybe not having leadership when you were young?
Yeah, big time. A lot of it stems from. So I always share this story when I speak to the youth in different communities. I always tell them about this. This street in my hometown is downtown. It's called No Hope Corner. It was literally called No Hope Corner because on the right it was called the jungles, where all the people like where your mom and dad wanted to take off, they go hide in the bush and drink over there, right? And right beside there's a liquor store, and then across the street is the lounge, and then the other side next to the liquor store is like a triangle. Sorry, it's like a triangle, right? It's like that was a sports bar, so that's where everybody hung out. In No Hope Corner, you go there and you see like these people that are drunks, and then people talk about them. They'll be like, he could have been good at this. He could have made it to the NHL. He could have been this. He could have been, but he's not. What happened? You know, like, and at a young age, I realized like all these people that were good at sports always talk about, they're like in their 30s or 40s or 50s, and they're talking about their high school glory days. It's like, I don't fucking want to be that. I want to have my own story all the time. You know, I want to be like a grown ass man, fucking having newer stories instead of repeating the same high school stories. You know what I mean? So that was you know, like, and so that's where like I came in my head is like, be who you needed when you were younger, you know. And the biggest thing, like you said, like, did you have any leaders? Yeah, Greg Hatch, he was a principal in our school. Man, that guy like had so much respect from everybody. Like it was crazy. Like grown men, grown grown men. As soon as Greg Hatch came in, you just see the child in them. That's the kind of like respect he had, you know? It's like, I want that one day. You know what I mean? And when I was in Loon Lake, that's kind of what was going on. People knew like I didn't kiss ass. You know, I do things different. I tell you as it is. I don't fear nobody. You know, I'm not saying that to be, oh, I'm a tough guy. No, it's just being real. Like, if you come at me, like, just know you're gonna be met with the same energy. You know, and the difference is that I can actually do something. You know, so yeah. But when I was there, like the kids, like they see me, they're all excited, like, you know, because like our gym was always packed in Loon Lake. We had like 40, 50 students every day. Like it was crazy. Like, you know, but that's where I really tried my best to be able to make that difference in the community, you know, because my heart was in it, because my kids are from there, you know, Dacian and Cyril, my babies, they're from Makwa, so, and them getting to see that, you know, even till today, I go back, I'm just like, all these kids, hey, when are you back? It's so good to see you. I have people come up hugging me, like elders hugging me, you know, like telling me how much they miss me, the impact that I had on the community when I was there. You know, it's a great feeling, you know. I try to do that when like I moved to North Battleford, right? Like life changes, like life happens, you know. I met my partner Credence, and you know, together we have little Thunder, right?
Baby Thunder.
Little baby Thunder, future,
Little big baby Thunder.
yeah, future champ. Mark my words, man.
Big cheeks.
Big cheeks. Squeak, and it gets punched. Yeah, little Arturo Gotti there. Yeah, but yeah, you know, and like I had a job in Moosomin, right? Working in Moosomin, but the thing about Moosomin was I don't know, maybe I was just tired. You know, I invested so much in Makwa that like by the time I was in Moosomin, I was already played out, you know, not played out, I just tired. And like my heart, it wasn't fair to them that I couldn't bring the same energy. I tried. I had amazing ideas I put together. They all see my ideas. They loved it. But the execution part and me just being like my heart not in it wasn't fair to the youth, wasn't fair to the community. So I stepped down from my position, and now I'm just focused on the gym, you know, and hopefully I make a bigger impact within the gym, within the community. Because in our gym it's like 90% indigenous. Like we don't have many Munyals. We have a few of the older ones, but yeah, mostly indigenous people come to our gym. I thought being downtown would have changed a lot of the things, right? But it is what it is. I love my Nichis.
What do you do? Like, since it is mostly indigenous people training at your gym,
Mhm.
do you feel like you really try and, you know, if there's like a young kid who stands out, like, I guess like mindset wise, even like hard work, focus, all that.
Yeah.
Do you try and focus in and create a leader out of them?
Yeah, I try my best to.
Yeah, because I feel like obviously the youth coming up, like those are gonna be the leaders.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where, you know, a lot of people struggle. You know, not just in the indigenous community, even in Saskatoon and wherever.
Yeah.
But like me too, going out to communities, you know, it is the leadership that isn't always the greatest.
Yeah.
You know?
You see it's very common, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like in most of these First Nation communities I travel, I appreciate them bringing me in, but at the end of the day, like, where is the leadership? You know, like I'm not trying to take shots at my chief, but like I just went to a youth conference there. He was supposed to be one of the guest speakers. He wasn't there. Where was he? He was in Edmonton watching the Oilers play. Like, where's your priorities?
Right.
You know, like for me, I'm big on leading by example. Like I don't drink. I made a promise to my kids they'll never see me drink. Not till today they never seen me drink. My daughter is turning 16 like this September, you know, and they've never seen me drink. They none of that lifestyle ever. And I try to lead that by example. Macwell, even my youth, Kaylee's never seen me drink. Sean never seen me drink. They've been my longtime students. You know, I try and I'm there. When they have school plays, I'm there. When they have something important in their life, I'm showing up. You know, just to show them that, like, you know, so they create they see the habits that I do like that, like the little things, and then they kind of like instill it in them, right? Like hopefully they'll carry that on.
Right.
Like Sean is like one of my best students, right? Like he's
the man.
He's a man. He does everything for me. You know what I mean? Like he's my go-to guy. You know, I've been training him since he was 15 years old. When I first met him, 14 years old. He's 19 now. You know, and thing about Sean is like he lives with me, lives with us. He lives in the gym now, or you know, he's living that lifestyle. You know, and but like a lot of the things that I taught and spoke about, he sees. Right? Like a lot of my other students, when I left, I told them, "Hey, man, you gotta do this, you gotta do that," but they didn't listen. They went that other route, and one of them are in jail. I think he just got out, and then another one's in jail. And you know, I try to give them that road to follow, but they You know, you can lead a horse to the well, but you can't force him to drink. You know, is that how the saying goes? So yeah, unfortunately, but he listened, and out of that, he's in school. He's planning to graduate. You know, and he's one of the best leaders in our gym. He teaches class. He's a pad holder. Man, by far, like one of the best pad holders around. Like, you know, he's gonna be there. Just mark my words. Like the guy can hold. You know, it makes it fun for me when I hit pads now. You know, like as before I have to travel all over just to hit mitts, and now it's just like I got Sean now. You know, so which is pretty awesome. And he's taking on that leadership role, and everything he like I've been preaching to him, teaching. Like he brings it up to me. He's like, "Thank you for doing this. Thank you for, you know, I see what you're talking about now." Like he just went home to visit. He hasn't been home in months. Like probably 6 months he hasn't been home. He just went home for the powwow, and first thing he messaged me like in 2 days, like, "You're right. Nothing changed. Everybody that's doing the same shit, doing the same shit." You know, unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? And he sees that, and he's like, "I don't want to be like that. It's good to visit. I'm here visiting. It's still time to unwind, you know." So he's out there and doing his thing, and then, but he sees it, you know, and he has like our younger students messaging him, being like, "Hey, we miss you at the gym. When are you coming back?" And itself speaks volumes, you know, like, and it affects him in a positive way. You know, you're not going to change everybody's life, but even if you change one, man, you know, I always tell him if I die, like something happens to me, like I want you to run the gym. You know, I'm teaching to be my black belt. Like Chad's going to be one of my first black belts, but like Sean will be the second. And Sean will be, you know, I'm like, if something happens to me, I want you to be Piccolo to Thunder and Cyro, you know, I want you to, like, that's Gohan and Goten, you know, I want you to teach them, you know, teach them the ways that I taught you, you know, and then pass the torch on.
I love Piccolo.
Yeah, I love Piccolo. Same. You remember our dog named Piccolo? I always give my dogs weird names, bro. There's Knuckles, Tails, you know, and there's
Piccolo.
Yeah, and there's Piccolo. Yeah. But yeah, so I try to, you know, prep him for that type of stuff. Unfortunately, like everybody has end time, right? Like, you know, our time's ticking. Never know when it come. You know, and at least like guys like him, they'll be able to carry on my style of teaching, and you know, and keep the, I don't say legacy, but you know what I mean? Like keep that word spirit alive.
It is a legacy.
Yeah. So I really
legacy. Even how you talk about the people who taught you.
Yeah.
That's their legacy. You're a part of that, you know? So and it is awesome that you give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't, you know, or they, you know, sometimes even
too proud
to altercation, you know, and now you don't want to give that person credit.
Yeah,
because you're mad, but it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Be mad and give them credit.
Yeah.
No, so
I'm big on that. Like, so Mitch Clark, like nothing ill happened. It's just kind of grew apart, you know what I mean? And till today, a lot of things that I teach, MMA wise, grappling wise, like my grappling style, it's from Mitch Clark, a lot of it. You know, I've always given him credit. Like he changed my life in a positive way. He doesn't know that. He's very like those guys that don't like the attention, right? Like, but like, you know, I give credit to Mitch. You know, he's really helped shape me, whether he knows it or not. I did listen to a lot of things that he taught, and I always listened to every little thing that he said. You know, and because of him, like my style gotten better. And then another one too is Coach David Lee in Kelowna at Toshido MMA. You know, that's where, so we're going back to where the Rory thing. You know, Jelly was in Kelowna helping them, and then like, hey, we need getting ready for Paul Daly. I think it was Paul Daly. I forget who it was, but anyways, I was helping Matt Dwyer. So another guy, Matt Dwyer, fought in the UFC. He's one of my good friends now too. And I went to go be his training partner. Man, Dwyer's a scrappy guy. So I'm the type that, you know, like when it's time to put it on, man, I'll put it on too, bro. I shy from no man, you know? So Dwyer's like 6'5", 6'4", and he's also welterweight, and I'm a welterweight. And he was a champion in BFL, and he was fought in the UFC. He got a KO of the year, I think. Landing a Superman punch. That's pretty sweet. But yeah, we scrapped it out, man. That's when you make like good friends, when you like beat the shit out of each other, literally, bro. Dwyer and I, our sparring sessions were literally fights, like main event fights. Like we scrapped, like he's throwing knee to the head, like hitting each other, getting the best of each other. It's like, it was fun. We would just sit there and like and laugh about it afterwards, you know, and it was the best, you know. And then helping Shane get ready for his UFC fights too, you know, when I was in Kelowna, and I got the call to help Rory, and then Rory was pretty good. Like Rory, like opened my eyes. Like there's levels to this shit, and
he seems just like technical,
very technical.
He just doesn't waste a movement.
No, and he's very humble, man. One of the best genuine guys you'll ever meet, man. He's very soft spoken. People think he's like a superstar, like, you know, dude, he's a proud family man, you know, man of God. Like he's down to earth guy, man. Like we message each other. Like his first time coming to Saskatchewan was to my gym for free. It's just the kind of guy he is. Like, you know, I helped him out like for camps, like, you know, put my body on the line, you know. But a lot of things people don't know is like we're like have guys come in and guys try to rip his head off. I didn't try to rip his head off. I was just being a good training partner. And then during camp, it would just be me and him. The whole camp would just be me and him, just drilling and spar, drill. But a lot of the stuff that made me better, like I said, is through David Lee's teachings. And you watch, like, if you see Rory move around and then you see David Lee, bro, same. It's crazy. Like, but a lot of people don't know that, right? Like, David Lee's a beast himself, man. Like, he's so humble. He's like a father figure in my life. If I need something, advice, I give him a shout. I'm going through shit. He's always there for me, you know what I mean? And very good that way. And but yeah, like you see them move around. You see where Rory got it from. Cool. Yeah, like it's pretty cool to watch. And like I said, David Lee's a beast. You ever roll with him, man? Like, yeah, he's a legit black belt. Like, and I love the way he teaches. He teaches MMA based grappling. Yeah, none of that.
We're coming over an hour here. I think you got a soccer game to get to.
What time is it?
5:30.
Oh, we got time, bro. You got me going, man. Shit, I didn't even talk this much.
I think we'll call it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit over an hour, but we'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
We'll do it a bunch more. That was easy.
Yeah. I don't talk much, but I was talking quite a bit today.
That's good.
Thanks, bro. And, you know, let's just give a shout out to you know, to you, bro. Like everything you do, man, is good. You know, like you seek the best out of everybody. You know what I mean? Like you never talk ill of nobody. It's everything. You just want the best for everybody, and I appreciate that, man. And you know, and yeah, and I thank you for your time. Always being there for me too when I'm going through shit. You know, because being a man, it's hard to like express how you feel. You know, a lot of times we keep that shit to ourselves, and sometimes that like eats you up here, you know, and just listening whenever we, you know, is always good. So I appreciate that, bro. But yeah, another person that's big part of my life that made a big difference too is Eric Wilson. You know, Eric has helped me in so many ways, like not just in training, but just in life in general. I was being a good bro and being a good friend, a brother to me. And that guy's a beast, you know, a guy can grapple, a guy can strike, and he never shies away from anybody, you know, and he's, yeah, appreciate him. And, yeah, I love you, Eric. And, but yeah, and shout out to the old lady there, all right, Credence, you know, thank you for everything. And supporting me, like she wants me to fight again, so which is pretty cool, you know. And a little Thunder, Daciana, Cyro, and Liam, those are my babies, and Sienna, right? So those are my babies. So think twice if you ever try to mess with my babies. Just kidding.
Kind of.
I'm always down to throw down.
Just kidding, kind of.
Just kidding, kind of.
Well, thank you, man. I feel like we just we met a couple years ago and we just clicked.
Yeah.
Just similar personalities, similar mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Although I'm awkward as fuck,
yeah.
but it's good.
And what I've noticed is you just learn so much from me. 'Cause I'm better at everything.
Where's my credit, motherfucker?
We'll call it. No, but thanks for coming, man. That was fun. That was awesome.
Sorry, Russell. I ended up talking too much, but hey,
No.
I'm chewing 2 pieces of gum.